where did you get your knowledge and advice from? Because obviously you've got a certain amount of genetics, but that doesn't get you to win competitions all the time. Yeah, where did you go to learn about building muscle, losing fat, getting to that shape? Did you have any mentors, or did you just sort of pick it up yourself from magazines and stuff?
It was magazines, a whole lot of magazines, a lot of articles, a lot of Googling, a lot of YouTube. And then I had my mentors, like one of my mentors that I don't talk about him enough, his name is Ken Hensley. Ken Hensley is in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, one of the best physiques I ever saw in my life. He was so knowledgeable, very smart, Caribbean guy. And he was the one who told me you should be a bodybuilder. I remember being in that boxing one day, because he was a kickboxer. So we was boxing, and he looked at me, how my muscles flared up when I was actually training, and he said, you should be a bodybuilder. And I said, what? He said, you should be a bodybuilder. And I didn't think nothing of it. So I got ready for my first show, and I got a trainer, started dieting, and like I said, what I did in that short amount of time, I said, whoa. It was just changing my food, working out consistently. It became a drug to me. It became an addiction. And it also messed me up too, because it made me get body dysmorphia and all that other stuff that us bodybuilders and people with crazy bodies have, and I'm okay with that. And it changed everything for me. It really did.
What kind of training worked for you to put on size? Like what were some of the things that you were doing that were maybe not as was it just traditional lifting heavy weights and that was it, or was there anything special?
Oh, it was heavy weights. Right. I started working with this guy named Don Smith when I really got a bodybuilder. Older bodybuilder, was Mr. America and stuff like that. And our first set will warm up with 100-pound dumbbells for 20 reps. We do 6 sets, and it's building. We live, so this foundation that I have as far as a body, I built this foundation because of the hard training. It's the hard training, the food every single day. Eating so much food, lifting heavy weights. I went from squatting 135 to being able to squat 515, and you hitting it for like 8, 9, 10 reps sometimes. And it's like, what are you doing? It's like, why you going crazy? And yeah, it was really hard training. I'm talking about hard training, not that cute stuff. Stuff where when you leave the gym, you want to go to sleep.
So what would be an example of like, so how would you do your split in a week then? Would you do like one body part, 2 body parts?
Well, bodybuilding, because we're crafting, it's almost like when you're building a house, you do one room at a time.
Okay.
Just like that. I'm trying to complete one room at a time. So I start off with chest. We do chest and we kill chest. We always finish with abs.
So that's just chest on one day?
Yeah,
and
for like an hour and a half.
What are you doing set-wise then?
It'll be 6 sets of 20 reps.
6 sets of 20.
Yeah, and the weight, your range started at what you struggle with. So if I was struggling, if we started off at, let's say 50, we started off at 65, 75 pounds to warm up. The first 2 sets, cool. After that, everything is 95 and up to the end, and it's 20 reps. And it's like, you just going and going till 100 pounds became light, which made no sense to me. Is it light now? A little bit. I'm a little older now, but yeah, we did some crazy stuff.
All right. So you do your chest and then finish off with abs. And how long were you working out then, roughly?
2 hours.
2 hours to do 6 sets?
Oh no, we did a lot of stuff.
Oh, okay.
It was chest. We go flat bench, incline, decline, flies, push-ups. Then we doing the small auxiliary type exercises just to like hit the detailing on certain parts. It was just a lot. It was ridiculous. Actually, we started with abs. So you would do 10 sets of 20 leg raises, and then you start your workout. And then you finish with 10 sets of leg raises of 20 at the end of the workout. It was ridiculous.
And how often in a week then? When would you go back to chest again?
So we'll go back to at least, we start with chest, we'll finish on chest on Saturday.
Right, okay.
Or Thursday.
Okay, yeah. So a couple of times a week per body part, right?
Yeah.
How did you recover from that? Like, that sounds really intense. How old were you when you were doing that?
I was like 28.
Okay.
26, 27.
Right.
So I had a little energy in me. Right. I didn't need to recover that much.
And what was legs like then? What were you doing? Because I've seen on your pictures you've got pretty good legs.
Yeah, I got a little something. I mean, we went old school, squatting, leg press, leg curl, leg extension, and then lunges until you couldn't walk no more.
Right.
I hated lunges at the end. It's like after all those legs, you're doing lunges for 60 yards with dumbbells in your hand. then you doing with no dumbbells in your hand. It's like, bruh, what time we done? But it's the mindset of not quitting, of keep going. Like I was telling you before, I knew if I was going to go through this amount of hard work and this amount of pain, something good was going to come out of it, and something did come out of it. The look for sure, but it was the mindset I was building. You know, it was the mental toughness and the mental strength I was building. Not only building a strong body, but I was building a strong mind. Like it's hard for me to quit anything.
And so as a strategy like that does sound pretty intense. Was that something that you felt worked for your body? I know there's lots of different ideas that people have about building muscle, but was that something that you figured over time that specifically worked for you?
Yeah, I noticed that too. When I did everything else, I could just give you a glimpse of like the last 2 years. After I did men's fitness in 2020, I was like, you know what, I want to get smaller and I want to do cycling, I want to race. So I started doing crit racing, which is a sport with cycling. Crit racing, criterion racing for cyclists. Started doing that because it was fun. It was really fun to get on the bike and just go. Because I was a sponsored athlete for Trek. And I was trying to get lean by doing the running, the endurance stuff and all that. It didn't do nothing. When I picked weights back up recently, consistently, in October, November last year, my body started to change like this. And my body said, oh, this is what you like. And the lean I was trying to get, I actually got it. And it was like, it just continued to get better and better and better. So I'm sticking to weights for the rest of my life. I'm gonna do everything else, but I'm gonna stick to weights more.
Do you kind of get any concerns about like injuries as you get older, like particularly lifting super heavy weight? I know I've spoke to people that have been on the other end of the age spectrum and have sort of thought, okay, maybe I wouldn't have gone as crazy. Like Dorian Yates is a good one I interviewed, and he was, he did a lot of damage through some of that super heavy training. Like, how do you feel about that? And particularly if you're training clients that want to get that shape, but are probably, late 30s going into 40s, for example.
So I don't do heavy weights anymore. Don't do that. I will stick to a weight that's comfortable, and I do a lot of rest. And I actually focus on more contracting the muscle. I actually focus on more detailing in when I'm doing my reps. I don't have to go pick up 80 to 100 pounds. I'm not trying to show off. I don't need to be the strongest person. I need to look like I'm the strongest person, but I don't need to be the strongest person. I have no ego. I'm okay.
Right.
So, and also I understand now, I do also do functional. I do more athletic training as well too, so I mix that in. And recovery is important now. So, it's me doing, if I'm going through like steam rooms or infrared saunas, just getting body work done on me, doing yoga, doing things like that. Just stuff to help continue to make this body that I want be not only look good, but actually be functional and be mobile, so I can, have a happy life and not just a life where I'm just walking around like this. That's not cute. That's not attractive at all.
So you're in good shape now. So what would be a typical workout week for you then, if by body part, say Monday to Friday? How many days in a week are you working out, and how are you splitting your body parts?
Right now I do like push and pull on Monday. Then I'll do shoulders and arms. And then I'll do another back exercise by itself. Then I'll do legs. And then I will do 2 days of like athletic training. But in between those days, I'm boxing 3 days a week. And then if I want to run or something like that, I'll do that. Right. So it's a
So you're doing something every day?
6 days a week.
Right.
I try, sometimes 7. It's probably every day, honestly. I ain't gonna lie, I work out every day. Even if it's just walking or it's just getting on the bike for a little bit, I gotta do something every day. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Yeah. And then how long are you training now then, roughly?
Hour and a half to 2 hours. Hour and a half at the most.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And then for let's say for chest, like how many sets would you be doing for your chest, and just sets and reps?
So I do circuit training with it. So I would do 3 different exercises, and I would do about 3 sets of it, and I would do 20 reps each. Right. So it's circuit training for those 3 to move to another 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then in terms of the tempo, so let's say you're doing chest press, like what would be the speed? Because I watch some of your stuff on Instagram, and there's a lot of dynamic, explosive stuff. But if you're going to sort of build chest for muscle, like what would be the speed and that?
Slow and control.
Right.
Slow and control. Going at a medium tempo, as far as as long as I'm contracting the muscle. I'm big on contracting the muscle. So slow and control is most important when you're building something. I'm creating the muscle. I'm not just building, I'm creating. So when you create something, you're taking your time, you're trying to detail it. So you're making sure that you hit it the right way. your form is perfect so that you're able to create it to look the way you need it to look.
What about training tools? Do you believe in traditional weights? Are you using bands? Are you combining weights and bands together?
I do it all at one time. Yeah. I like to play with it. The body adjusts too quick. So I like to play with it, just throw something in there every now and then, that's different. But long as it's working towards the same exercise and muscle group, then we're good.